Hey everybody, welcome to our first video on this channel, and today we're going to talk about 7 players you need to draft on your fantasy football team this year. This is Gridiron TV. Welcome to everyone here who's new. If you liked the video, please give a thumbs up, subscribe, comment. Don't share it with your league mates, because that's just going to make them better, and we only want you to win, okay? But let's move on to this list. What this list is it's 7 players that are being drafted way lower than where they should be. Be it that they're free agents, that they had injury concerns, maybe that they're young, unproven. Well, rest assured, I'm going to get you a lot of wins this year if you draft these 7 players. Starting off the list, we have my favorite pick, and it's Dalvin Cook. He's being drafted around the 60th mark, and he's a running back for, who knows? We don't know yet. Rumors are it's the Jets, the Patriots, possibly Miami, who knows? But let's get to that in a bit. There are several running backs being drafted ahead of Cook, of course. Here I have a chart of them. I chose Dameon Pierce, J.K. Dobbins, Joe Mixon. Now we can see that Dalvin Cook edges them out in almost every statistical category. I couldn't fit touchdowns on here, but trust me, he looks very good in that department as well. Now he is being drafted before Dameon Pierce. Now Dameon Pierce is a good player, don't get me wrong. He was a rookie and he did very well on a bad team. So I'm not going to use him too much as an example, but he's not Dalvin Cook. Up next, we have J.K. Dobbins, who I really don't think has even touched the football in like 4 years. I think he just gets injured really after 2 weeks, and then who knows what happens. But after that, we have Joe Mixon, who I think also has like a domestic abuse situation going on. So that's not really a fun player to have on your team. But Dalvin Cook is way better than these 3 players, and is still being drafted behind them. Why is that? Well, we don't know where he's going to go, and it could be a team that already has an established running room. This would be the Patriots, and it would be the Jets. Jets have Breece Hall, who is an amazing rookie, but did unfortunately tear his ACL. Now, that could work in Dalvin's favor, maybe. As bad as it is to say, Breece might not come back 100%, and Dalvin Cook is a bona fide star in this league. He is going to cook with Aaron Rodgers if he is on the Jets. He'll share the load with Breece Hall a little bit. It will cut into his production, but as we can see on the right, he produces. He really produces. He was the 9th best running back in fantasy football in 2022. He does nothing but produce. If he goes to the Patriots, we know Belichick likes to use a run-by-committee type thing. I really don't think it would be an issue. I think Dalvin Cook still kills. We saw Damian Harris and Ramondre both put up respectable numbers together. Even if Dalvin Cook were to share a running room and have an okay year, then you're basically drafting him at his ADP. And I don't think that's going to happen. I think he's going to have a great year. So that's why I think you should really consider looking at Dalvin Cook as your running back 2, running back 3. The nice thing about him is that you can wait a little bit to draft a running back. And you can get him for very cheap, basically. But yeah, I really like him. And let's move on to the next player. Here we have Chig Okonkwo. He is being drafted around the 122nd position. He's a tight end for the Tennessee Titans. So his first year, he's a rookie. He didn't do like amazing. He didn't do bad at all. I think he finished as like the 15th tight end, which is tight end 2 material, which is where you're about drafting him, kind of lower. What he is an athletic freak. He ran a 4.52 40. He had an athleticism score of 78. 2022 combine tight end ranked 7th. He is an amazing, amazing tight end. He didn't fully get into the rotation necessarily until the end of last year with the Titans, and when he did, he killed it. I mean, you had a Treylon Burks who wasn't really performing up to standards. You had Tannehill not really performing up to standards, but Okonkwo killed it. Where you drafted him that year, he way outperformed. And I don't see him regressing at all. So again, even if you draft him at 122, he's going to perform at 122. But I promise you, he's going to be way better than that. Now, I wouldn't look to him to be your tight end one, your starting tight end, but he could be an amazing backup tight end for you. If your tight end one gets injured or is on a bye week, Okonkwo's your guy, and you can get him very late. So please give him a consideration because he is going to blow some minds. All right, moving on, we have one of my favorites, Daniel Jones. I know a lot of people might be laughing at this right now, but please hear me out. Daniel Jones struggled, to say the least, early on in his career. Now, after getting Brian Dable, Daniel Jones has looked like a real NFL quarterback. You can see his yards thrown from 2019 to 2022 have steadily increased. You can see his completion percentage has gone up about 6%. He's not throwing maybe as many touchdowns, but he's also not throwing nearly as many interceptions. What he really learned to do was use his legs, use his offense. Before, he was really forcing a lot of throws. He didn't look like he really knew what his reads were. Last year, he killed it. He brought the Giants to a pretty respectable record. So Daniel Jones is steadily getting better and better. And now, if we look at the quarterbacks that are being drafted around him, so you have Aaron Rodgers behind him. I think Aaron Rodgers is in a very steep decline. We saw it last year. He just didn't look like Aaron Rodgers. You have Russell Wilson, who's in the same boat. You have Jared Goff, who, the goofball, that's all I'll say. Bryce Young's a rookie. We don't really know what to expect from him. Doesn't really use his feet at all, so you're not going to get a lot of fantasy rushing value out of him. Kyler Murray's hurt for a long time, probably a few weeks at least. Plus his team's obviously going to tank. Jordan Love, we've never seen play quarterback. So those are the guys behind Daniel Jones, but let's talk about the guys in front of Daniel Jones. You have Kirk Cousins, who, again, I think he's a good quarterback, but he provides no rushing upside. He is a little bit of a decline. He lost one of his favorite targets, and Adam Thielen. His O-line could be better, and the Vikings, just as a whole, have gotten worse. Anthony Richardson's a complete unknown. I plan on making a video on just Anthony Richardson, so I'm not going to say too much right now. Tua Tagovailoa is a very good player. I understand why he's above Daniel Jones. He's on an electric offense, but I think they should be closer than about 20 spots. Deshaun Watson, he looked like poo-poo last year. He really did. He looked very bad. Plus, let's not talk about what he did. Deshaun Watson just didn't look like Deshaun Watson did. He wasn't really using his legs as much. He wasn't making the right throws. His throws were inaccurate. And then Dak Prescott, I mean, come on. Dak Prescott above Daniel Jones, really? I mean, first of all, Dak Prescott, I feel like is a pretty big injury concern. Aside from that, I just don't think Dak Prescott is better than Daniel Jones. I said it. I'm sorry, I said it. What do I have to back that up? The eye test. That's all it is, really. But on a more serious note, the whole point of this is that Daniel Jones has been steadily improving year by year by year. And I don't see that stopping. They have upgraded their offensive weapons in New York. They got Darren Waller. They drafted Hyatt. Saquon's going to be coming back. This New York Giants offense is one to invest in. And invest in the centerpiece of it, Daniel Jones. You'll regret it if you don't. Now let's move on to the next player. Alright, sorry, I have to keep moving my face cam around so you'll get all the angles of me. But let's talk about Marquise Brown. Now, Marquise Brown is being drafted around the 68th position. He's a wide receiver for the Arizona Cardinals. If you don't know that, he used to play for Baltimore, got traded to Arizona. Kind of killed it, in my opinion. He had that great year in 2021 with Baltimore where he had over 1,000 receiving yards. He had 6 touchdowns. Didn't have as good a year in 2022 with Arizona, but let's talk about it. Marquise Brown is big play potential. He is fast. He is quick. He is good with his hands. He is a phenomenal player. Now, has he regressed a little bit? Sure. Did he have some weird injury concerns for a little bit? No, not really, but kinda, I guess, worth thinking about. The point is, he is the alpha on Arizona right now. When he was on Baltimore, the alpha was Mark Andrews, and he performed. With Arizona, DeAndre Hopkins was the alpha. Marquise Brown performed. Marquise Brown performed well with Lamar Jackson, who isn't very good at throwing a football. Marquise Brown performed well with Arizona with Kyler Murray, who isn't very good at throwing a football either. Marquise Brown just performs. Now, he's being drafted at the 68th position, like I said. Now, here's him up against Christian Watson. Now, mind you, Marquise Brown played 2 less games last year. He had more receptions, more receiving yards, 3 less touchdowns. He had, less fantasy points. But if we take 2 games back into account, Marquise Brown basically equals Christian Watson. Now, why is Christian Watson being drafted so far ahead of Marquise Brown? Because he lost his quarterback? No, that can't be it. Maybe it's because they drafted Jaden Reed, who's a really good rookie. No, that can't be it. Who knows? I don't know. I can't figure it out. Marquise Brown's your guy. He is going to put up close to what someone like Christian Watson will, but at way lower of a price. Now, you can get Christian Watson, be happy. I understand that, but this is a whole value buy type thing. Marquise Brown at 68 is value. He is going to have a very good year, barring any injury. Colt McCoy is probably going to be throwing him the ball a lot. That's okay. Marquise Brown will catch it, and he will run with it. He will be great. So consider him. Let's not spend too much time on Marquise Brown, though. Let's talk about Miles Sanders. I know this one might seem a little bit silly. Oh my goodness. I said Miles Sanders played for Philly. That's wrong. He plays for Carolina now. Sorry, I'm a goofball. Anyways, let's ignore that. Miles Sanders recently just signed a deal with Carolina. I believe it's a 4-year deal. And he is being drafted around the 51st position. Now, if we look at Miles Sanders historically, he's another player who has kind of gotten better as the years go on. In 2019, he scored a total of 166 fantasy points, then 138. Then he missed some games and didn't look good in 2021. He got 90 points. But then in 2022, he blew up with 197 points. And you might say, well, that's because of Jalen Hurts. Well, Jalen Hurts shouldn't help Miles Sanders. Jalen Hurts runs the ball. Miles Sanders himself just looked very good. He looked focused. He looked ready. And he's just gotten better. If you look at this cute little graph I made, you can see how he has performed throughout the years. This little bar above the receiving yards, that's supposed to be touchdowns. You can't really see it, but in 2022 it's higher than the other years. So he had a slight decline in receiving yards. That's because Jalen Hurts could just run out of the pocket instead of checking down at him. But rushing yards, my gosh, he killed it. And a lot of that is attributed to Philly's offense. But Carolina's going to run a very good offense for Sanders. He doesn't have much competition. I believe it's just Chuba Hubbard behind him, who's like a good backup, but that's all he'll be. And he has Bryce Young, who's going to check that ball down all the time to Miles Sanders. Let me say this again. Bryce Young is going to check the ball down to Miles Sanders constantly. Okay? That's one of the big reasons why you should get Miles Sanders. PPR, mainly. but also standard. He's going to be running that ball a lot for Carolina. You might say that they have some offensive weapons with Thielen, Mingo, who else is there? Chark, Terrace Marshall. Miles Sanders is their guy. That offense is going to run, and run. Bryce Young is not going to throw the ball a Patrick Mahomes amount in his first year. So consider Miles Sanders to be a very good value at 51 because the players at that range is like J.K. Dobbins, Cam Akers, Alexander Madison, Breece Hall. Those are, Kenneth Walker as well. All guys that I think I would take Miles Sanders above. Let's move forward onto a big sleeper. I couldn't let you guys go without a very big sleeper. Wan'Dale Robinson, being drafted around 167th. Very, very far back. But this is around Jalen Hyatt, Rashid Shaheed, KJ Osborne, Donovan Peoples-Jones, Alec Pierce, Van Jefferson. Wan'Dale Robinson is going to light it up this year. Now, he is very, very quick. He's very good with his hands. Now, the only statistics I have to back this up is Week 11 when he played the Lions and absolutely went off as a rookie. He had 100 yards, 9 receptions. Okay, maybe he didn't go off, but that game, if you watched, showed how good of a player he can be. He's not bad at, running routes. He's quick, good route tree, good hands. He's going to be a very good addition to Daniel Jones and Dable's offense. 5'8", 178. Again, he just produced. He went to Kentucky. He was just insane in college. Now, I know they drafted Jalen Hyatt. I'm personally not too worried about Jalen Hyatt. I think Wan'Dale Robinson's going to come back this year looking very good. If you don't know, he suffered an injury, and that's why there's not many statistics on him, and that's why he's probably not going so high. But if it's between him and Donovan Peoples-Jones, I'm going Wan'Dale Robinson easily. I can't believe I even have to put Mike Evans up here. It is blasphemous. 76th? Seriously? Why are you guys not taking him higher? You're seriously taking Treylon Burks around Mike Evans? You're taking Tyler Lockett around him? Michael Pittman? Mike Williams? What are you guys doing? Mike Evans. I'm going to pick on Christian Watson again. I have nothing against him, but I'm going to pick on him again. They played a difference of one game, right? But Mike Evans had 77 receptions, 1124 yards. That's nearly double what Christian Watson did. And one less touchdown. Okay, whatever. But Christian Watson is being drafted 21 spots ahead of Mike Evans. 21 spots. That means you want 21 more people than Mike Evans? That is insane. I get it. He lost Tom Brady. And I get it. Baker Mayfield's throwing him the ball. Maybe Kyle Trask. Who cares? Mike Evans is a phenomenal, one of the best receivers in the league. Okay? He can perform with Ezekiel Elliott at quarterback. I promise you. He is going to get targets upon targets. Now maybe he'll see some regression with touchdowns, but he's going to get targeted. I swear to you. If we look at targets throughout the years, it's remained pretty constant. Peak in 2016 with 173. He had 127 last year. The point I'm trying to say is that his targets have remained consistent throughout his career. He's going to get at least 110 this year, right? And he's going to catch at least 70. So he's going to probably eclipse 1,000 yards again, assuming he plays the whole year. Just Come on. 76? Seriously? Mike Evans is way better than that. You guys know it too. But thank you everyone for coming to watch this production. It's the first video, so if there's anything you would change, please comment down below. If you like this type of content or you want to see other content, definitely just let us know. Comment, subscribe, do whatever pleases you. We're here to have fun. Next video, I think I'm going to do something with Anthony Richardson, throw in some other rookie quarterbacks.